What's up guys, it's Anders. In this video, we're looking at what it's going to be like to release music as an independent artist in 2020. So we're steaming into the last quarter of 2019, and you know what that means. No! It means that you should be prepping your releases for next year. Yeah, so I'm totally serious. Right now, this last quarter of 2019 is when I start to wrap everything up and know what I'm going to have released next year. We rewind, this time in 2018, I had the tracks mostly ready. Everything was getting sent out to mastering. I'd spoken to the videographer, video editor, etc. about the videos I was going to put out. If you look back across the tracks such as Like a Fool, etc., they had videos that all tied in together with them. The track Trouble in the Hood, I'd already collected all the footage and was looking to get some time to edit that. That took a really long time to cut together. Even though the video turned out to be pretty unsuccessful because I was unable to monetize and unable to push it on YouTube with all the marketing I put in place, it was done, ready and out the way. I didn't have to think about it nearer the time. The other tracks like a Fool, Hold on Me, they've all worked really well and the videos tied in sequentially and were all ready. I didn't have to do anything, rush them, hold out releases. Stuff was just ready to roll because I planned ahead. Now, one of the things that I didn't have to worry about planning ahead for was things like CDs and manufacturing. I went purely digital this year, no kind of physical product. And the reason for that really is when you look at like CDs and vinyl and things like that now, it just doesn't exist. For example, in the first half of this year, 2019, streaming made up 80% of all artist revenue. Just let that sink in. 80% of all artist revenue. It wasn't CD sales, it wasn't sync licensing, it wasn't touring and performance, it wasn't like TV sync, it wasn't PRS, it was all from streaming revenue, which is crazy, but that is the full switch we've made now. If we rewind to say 2000, which was the absolute peak of CD sales with around 1 billion, we're now at less than 50 million. It's a tiny fraction. For comparison to that 50 million, listeners per month from someone like Billie Eilish right now on Spotify alone, now that's just individuals listening, assuming they've all listened to more than one track. Do you know what? Even if they've all only listened to one track, just on Spotify alone, that is 500,000 a month. Obviously, that revenue doesn't all go to Billie, it goes with everything that's been going with. But my point being, album sales and CD manufacture, it's just on its way out. So what you really need to be prepping with is making sure you've got all the content that goes with that. It's not so much the CD packaging and things like that now. You've got to focus on what you need to have pre-planned for your pre-release. So what we're going to do here is just go through 3 key facts that we need to get in place for you to release your music successfully in 2020. So in 2018, the only successful albums that were really outselling over streaming were the Now compilations. Those classic, take all the #1 hits from the year, put them on a CD, send them out. There's a couple of other more vintage and established artists who have a bit of a split balance. It was sort of half CDs and half streaming. But any newer artist, anyone around from sort of the last 10 years plus, it is all about the streaming side of things. So the first thing you should look at doing is getting yourself a good digital distributor. Now, I personally use DistroKid. I've used them since about 2015, maybe earlier at this point. And there's some amazing key things that they do. For a single yearly fee, you can upload as many tracks as you want to release. They also allow you to schedule ahead of time. Massive key factor in making sure you've got everything sort of in a bundle and the cycle's ready to go forward is having it scheduled way ahead. I will be scheduling singles for the coming summer of 2020 in the next couple of months, meaning I can get all my links and everything ready a couple of weeks ahead of time because I know where everything's going to be and I can start getting some pre-momentum. They also have this amazing thing called the Hyperflow. They do Hyperflow linking for your release. I use this really heavily. When I've got a release scheduled and it's going to go to Spotify, you can get a pre-save link. This goes even before the pre-order, so I can promote an upcoming track with some kind of upcoming promo. You're then able to save that track on Spotify. This means when it releases, the 1,000+ people who listen to me every month on Spotify get a notification that the track has now been released. It massively increases the boost in numbers. DistroKid have also been really forward thinking in where I can get my music to. Well, if you were to go on Instagram stories, you can actually search my tracks and put them in the music link in the background for your Instagram story. You can now also do this on TikTok, which is a massively uptrending platform. There's not many digital distributors out there that are going to let you do this, especially for that same single yearly fee, meaning I could now go onto TikTok and find some ways to promote my music on there, and it's already available. I've done the same thing with Facebook, Instagram, and many other ways. So you've got yourself a good digital distributor and you've got everything ready to go. What's the second thing that you need to do? Plan ahead for your release. Now there's a few key things that I think about. Let's say I have a really heavy summer vibe song. I would not generally go and release that at the end of say August or flying through September into October. I've missed the key summer months. I want to get that out in the late or maybe even the early spring and start the push from there. You've really got to think about how your music's going to translate and going to affect. You don't see the Christmas singles getting released in June and then pushing right through the year. They come around at the right time that everyone's going to be vibing to that particular style of music. You also want to schedule your music to go out at an appropriate time. So you don't want it to drop at midnight on say a Saturday when people aren't really out buying music. If you're doing a genre like me, they're going to probably be hungover and not listening to anything on the Sunday. You've just been paid, they see your promo, it's only going to cost them 99 cents. It's not even a forethought because they're feeling flush from payday. Timing like that is really, really impeccable, especially with pre-orders and your release. Timing it with the right time of year as well, absolutely impeccable thing to do. Something else you want to have really planned ahead is your pre-release marketing. Now, what I mean by this are potentially adverts. You might already have edited a Facebook advert, one that fits on Instagram, so it's in a square profile, it's only 1 minute long. You might already have a pre-recorded Instagram story set, or at least what I tend to do is YouTube videos where I will feature part of the track and how I made it, but I'll show a lot of the whole track and what it sounds like. So look at what you can do with your pre-release marketing and how you want to get everything pushed. The smart thing to do at the moment would be, if you've got an audience, just bring something valuable to that audience that exposes them to your music, just like I do with YouTube, and having a track that features it in the intro, shows a bit how it was broken down. Start networking with people now for releases that are happening way in the future. This can be things like reaching out to companies or other individuals who might be able to playlist your music or promote it, or even do your press releases, already having your press release written 6 months ahead of time. This means you can go on Facebook, drop in your press release, Hyperflow link so people can save the track on Spotify, schedule your posts on Facebook for 6 months time, don't even have to worry about it. All of your marketing is going to start rolling out on autopilot. And because you did it so ahead of time, if anything changes or anything that needs to be reactionary on your releases, you can look at doing that as the time rolls forward. And the third thing that we should look at doing, have a post-release plan. I actually do this ahead of time as well. So once the track is actually out, one of the things I really like to do is do a full track breakdown, usually a week or two after the track has come out. This will capture anyone who's missed it previously or has already listened to the track and has now become aware of me in that time period where I was building everything up. I have a post-release schedule of content and information and marketing and time already pre-dedicated. Book out the day when a track is dropping. This means I can grab anything that has been posted or reblogged or shared to a playlist, and I can react on the day, making Facebook posts, reposting, supporting those people, saying thanks to them, making sure the music gets pushed into the right place, and just double checking that every single backlink and piece of information and sales point all works correctly. Guys, I've been Unders. I hope the video has been helpful for you. I hope it's dropped some useful information. Below is a link to DistroKid with a discount. If you don't have a digital distributor already, I wholeheartedly recommend them. I can see no reason I won't be using them in the future. And I will catch you guys on the next video.